Let's talk about life, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the truth and consciousness, divinity. Let's talk about God. Let's talk about love.
All right, welcome to Spiritual Winner Presents, and I'm your host, Ninette Terhart.
And I am Linda O'Connell.
Yes, and you know what time it is.
It's time for some real talk
about healing, y'all.
All right, we're back here in action, and I'm here with Linda, and we are rocking. It's been a little while, and lots has unfolded. My goodness. So we're talking today about the coronavirus, the implications that it has been having in our minds and then projected out into our seemingly experience out here. Let's see here. Corona, a part of the body resembling the crown, and then virus is release of toxins. So there's some really delicious ways that we can look at this if we want to, and really it's a choice, and we know that. We know that everything is a choice, and I know it's hard sometimes for individuals to look at that when they're looking outside themselves and they're seeing a lot of things unfold. But that's really the only thing I think that we can control is what we're going to choose to focus on. What do you think about that, Linda?
I think you're absolutely right. We have two choices. We can look at everything with the Holy Spirit. We can ask to look at everything that we think that we're seeing out there with the Holy Spirit, or we can remain in fear. So those are the two choices. So as we look at this, we want to feel everything. You know, we want to look at everything with the Holy Spirit, ask the Holy Spirit, what is this really about? What is this for? And what it is really about is healing the mind. That's what it's about.
Yeah. You know what's interesting is Stuart Price, one of our mighty companions, he texted me this morning and he said, funnily enough, Sadhguru says a similar thing when he says, whatever the world throws at us or throws at you, you turn it into well-being. All these apparent disasters are actually our pathway home. So seen in the right way, of course, if seen in the wrong way, they depress the hell out of us. And I want to thank Stuart for sending me that today, because how perfectly timed was that when you just said what you said. But here's the thing, Linda, and of course, as a core student, and there's many core students out there, or spiritual, you know, on a spiritual path, but there's a lot of people that aren't. And so Holy Spirit and all that, it's hard for them to understand. What do you mean? I'm looking out here and I'm seeing the news, and friends are sending me a lot of stuff, and maybe some people have, you know, dropped their body in their experience, people that they know and love. And so to them, it's a very different place to be in the mind. And so I always like to look at it as you're handing it over to a higher aspect or a clearer aspect of your mind. Because the running around aspect, the little chicken with the head cut off running around, is not the place to go, because that's sort of our knee-jerk response. And what we want to do is try to compassionately steer our mind into that place of the clear aspect of our mind. You know, I hate using higher or lower, because then people think, oh, it's higher than lower. It's more the expanded, you know, truth or the essence of just that isness, where it's like there is no judgment there, no duality. It's just this place that can be in pure acceptance. And in acceptance, there kind of isn't the black and white yes or no. It's just sort of this, you know, place that we can go if we choose. And sometimes it does feel hard to go there.
Right. Yeah, sometimes it does, and sometimes we get very wrapped up in the news and what we're hearing, and we're just like drawn to it. And as we do that, we become more and more engulfed in the fear.
Yeah.
And the place we need to be is in the forgiveness, in the true forgiveness, because there is a place in us that's deep, deep down within our true self that knows the truth. And this part of us knows that this is insanity. This could not possibly be.
Yeah.
In the realm of God, how could this possibly be?
Yeah.
And so where we need to be is in that place where we're seeing with these eyes. We're taking in our surroundings. But as we do this, we want to remember our true purpose. Our true purpose is forgiveness.
Not the old-fashioned kind of forgiveness.
Right, no, not that at all. We've covered that in a past episode about that forgiveness of saying, I forgive you because I'm bigger than that. I forgive you because I'm better than that. Those are the old kind of forgiveness things that we thought. Yeah. But this is time now. It's time. This is the Great Awakening. And it's time to let go of all those past thoughts. And it's time to awaken to the truth of being.
I think, just to add to what you're saying, Linda, I think a wonderful way for those folks tuning in that, maybe don't have such a strong spiritual practice as of yet, or are, they have inclinations of it, to take moments when you can remember during your day to just be very still, because the place that you're talking about is in stillness. It's not in hecticness, and it's not in that ego mindset. And and if you're not a student of some sort of method to unravel that ego mind, it can seem very overwhelming. So I just wanted to suggest to those listening that you take those little, even if it's like 2 beats of just being completely still and staying in that awareness state, as opposed to that ego hectic mindset. And the more if you thread that through more and more, you will start to see the dots connect over the next few days, weeks, months, and I think this sort of unfolding is really jolting everybody. Obviously, we're one mind, but in our little corner, of our little one mind, everyone has a different story they've written. And every one of us is getting like jolted in whatever kind of shockwave we need to experience to, like you said, this great awakening. And I can feel it. Like, don't you feel that there's some, obviously there's just some different frequency in the energy field at this time.
Yes. And so this is all about the clearing. So as we look at all of these things that come up, it is, like you say, it's so important to stay present, to stay in this place where, there is nothing happening to me right now. I'm just sitting here. I can make my mind be in this place, or I can let it just run amok. I can let it run loose with the ego, who does not want me to stay present.
No.
The ego does not want me to remember that I am fine, that I am here, that I am whole, that I am well, that I am a holy child of God. And everything that appears to be happening outside of me out there, this projection of all this fear, is simply a projection coming from the split mind, the belief that thinks that it is separated from God. And that is not true. So this is what our work is right now. Our work is to look at everything that we think is true out there in the world and endeavor to the higher self. I say the Holy Spirit. I say Jesus. But it is that part of you that knows that this cannot be so.
But as you're talking, Linda, I'm thinking of something that is reoccurring in my mind as this has been, happening. That not only is people in their minds being kind of like shaken, but the individuals that have been, working on this sort of mindset for a while are now being asked to really, really deepen that one mind awareness, because, if there is only one mind, as the Course talks about, then whatever we are focusing on as an awareness part of that mind can really make a difference by those that understand a little more to go even deeper. Like I've noticed I am getting deeper and deeper into that awareness of it. And again, it's hard to describe because it is very abstract. But at the same time, I can sense that, like a lot of Course people that have been doing it for a long time are even deepening and, widening their presence in that one mind. It's very cool.
I've heard that there are some things happening. I've heard through the Course community that there are some interesting things starting to happen. And I'll share with you one of the interesting things that's happening with me. The Course says that, that we are shifting this. And we're doing it with this true forgiveness work, where we are taking where we're looking at these things with the Holy Spirit. We have invited, or however you want to word it. I'm just going to speak for me. Where you are seeing something that is horrific, and you're inviting the Holy Spirit in, and you say, okay, look at this with me. What is this really about? What is this in my mind that needs to be healed? And then just stay very present. Be here with that part of the mind that is the pure truth, your highest self, which is love, and it is light. So that's where you want to be. You want to stay there. And as you invite the Holy Spirit in and you look at this, things can begin to come to you. And guess what? They are all reflections of the tiny mad idea. All of this, it's accumulative. Mm-hmm. So it is all the tiny mad idea, the belief in separation, that we have actually separated from God. So this is what we're healing. This is the mind that we're healing. And this is the opportunity that we have before us.
Yeah, and maybe, you stay away from the news for a while you have your training wheels on and you're working through this.
Yeah, we don't need to jump into the ugliness. We don't need to. But it's going to come to us. These things trickle, and
Yeah.
So when they do, use it.
Use it.
It is an opportunity. We've been talking about this, haven't we? About these gold nuggets.
But these are we have to apply it. It has to be applied.
We've entered the gold mine, right?
Yeah, I know.
And so right now, here we have this before us, and we can use this. We have the choice. Do we want to sit here and suffer in this? Or do we want to take this insanity to the top?
Yeah.
So we take it to the top.
The giant zit is fun. It's like, you got to pop it now, dude. It has got to be popped.
It's time.
It's time.
Because this is not fun. This is not love.
Yeah.
This is an envision of death. And there is no such thing as death. God would not have created death, and God is creator. So when we are making our choices to go to creator, and go to creator with this, it's in the mind. There's nothing outside of the mind. There's nothing outside of us that can do this for us.
Mm-mm.
So running around like chickens with heads cut off is not going to heal anything.
Yeah.
What has the power and the glory to do this, who I call Jesus, and you may use whatever term you want. It is what you believe to be your highest self, and every single one has that within them. It's just a matter of making your intent to go there. And when you go there with your intent, you will be there.
You have to keep choosing. It's like
Yes.
a minute by minute, sometimes seconds. I mean, even at this time, certain things come up, and I'm like every second of whatever that time limited time frame is, where I'm having to really like, oh my God, I got to be still, because this has got to come out. I have got to get, it's like toxins being released out of my mind. And that's why we call this the Crown Re-lease of Toxins.
And look where we are. Look where we are. We are home.
Yeah.
Right now, in my dream, I am one of 22 counties right now that are on stay home order from the governor. And so how blessed am I to use this time to be still, to take everything that is disconcerting to me and hand it over. And it is because of willingness and diligence that we will do this.
And you know, Linda, the proof's in the pudding, because when you think about the past where we didn't do that, say you didn't do that, I didn't do that, whoever didn't do that, you never got free of anything. You just kept doing this.
Yeah.
And then you started making those choices. You see the change, you feel the change.
And here's something too. Remember how it was with our last episode where I gave my final thoughts. And the final thoughts were to try it out.
Try it, you'll like it.
Do it.
Yeah.
Look at something, look at someone that irks you or something that's bothering you. Do the work where you're looking at all these feelings that are coming to you. They're negative feelings, they're guilt-based, they're fear-based, they're all the same thing. But take all that stuff and hand it over. And just see what happens. So here's something I'd like to share. Recently, I have been using Facebook as a means to heal the mind. I've also been using the course community, inviting the course community at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every night. And I invite everyone to join if you'd like. For 3 minutes, to sit in the stillness, be in your heart, connect with your highest power, the highest form of you, and picture what you want to see in the world. Picture the people just dancing in the streets. Picture them joyous. Picture them happy.
Yeah.
Picture everyone just so joyful that this is over. So this is a beautiful thing to have in the mind. Picture people hugging each other freely, exchanging love to one another. This is what needs to be pictured now. So for 3 minutes every night, I invite all to join me to do this.
And what time are you doing that, Linda, so we can put that up here?
9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Okay.
And I have many people that are setting their timers on their phone for 9 p.m. And so for 3 minutes, this is what we're doing. Envision everything that comes to your mind, the shift. This is the ugly stuff that we're clearing. All this fear right up in our face. So this is the shift. And this is how we can shift this. Look at this coronavirus and look at what it has brought into your scope. So now take it Have the Holy Spirit heal it, which you cannot do on your own.
Feel those feelings. That's all you're asked to do.
That's right.
Just hand it, say, you know what, I don't know what this is
exactly right.
for. I'm handing this over to you. Even if you don't know what you're handing it over to, just hand it over.
Yes.
And let the feelings come up, and then see them going over to a light. And you don't know, just let it go. And move through it like steam, as opposed to feeling this wall of coronavirus coming at you like a dump truck.
Right.
Go
Clear
through it like it's not even there, and just allow it to be light and up.
Yes. Yes.
And then that's all we're asked to do, which is so cool, actually.
And we can do this, but denying it and just saying, I'm not going to look at it, or, continuing to hide in it is not going to clear it.
Or blame it. No more blaming.
That's right. It's being cleared by God. This is God's will that this be cleared. And it is evident. If you look at this, it is evident. So I want to share one other thing. And this is so beautiful. And it is the proof right in front of my face that this work that we are doing, A Course in Miracles, which is the correction to what we thought we were to do. This is the Holy Spirit coming through, saying this is what is needed at this time. So I look at Facebook and I see things that with the part of my mind that is still not completely healed. So these things that I'm seeing, and I know many others are telling me the same thing, that they're seeing these too. We are seeing pictures of animals and people suffering, maybe being tortured in some form, and there are different levels of it. But and in the past, I wanted to just scroll right on past. Whoa, I don't want to look at that. It's time to look at it with the Holy Spirit. It's time to have this cleared. And so I look at these pictures. I'll give you one as an example. There was a post of, it was a wooden board fence, and it had a big hole in it. And these three faces of these three big dogs were squished through the hole. So you've got these three noses. And as I looked at the picture, I said to myself, well, maybe this won't be so bad. maybe I won't have to suffer in this picture with them. As I looked, I thought, well, what I see in this picture are three dogs who really would love to be free. They're stuck in there. They're trapped. And they feel like they really don't have the life that they want. So I looked at that with the Holy Spirit and I said, hey, that's the tiny man idea.
Totally.
It's all the tiny man idea. Right down to that little Facebook post of three dogs sticking there. If we are diligent and we really pay attention to our feelings, even that slight little feeling of, oh, those poor dogs. No, don't entertain that. And don't sit around and let that ego bang that back in your head from time to time and use that to keep you in this. No. So then after I handed all the feelings over, this is how I felt about it. Oh, I told you, they feel trapped. They want to be free. They want to get out. Okay, so then I just felt, hey, let me go back and scroll back up and look at that picture again. I did. And I saw in my cleared mind, my more healed mind, three dogs, very happy dogs, looking out this hole. It was the same picture, but in my mind, they were now happy. And in my mind told me, yes, they have wonderful owners. They have a beautiful life. they're in there with a big play yard. They're together. They have each other, and their owners take them on wonderful walks, and they play the park. And whatever, my mind was healed at that moment. But I didn't have to sit there and simmer in that stuff.
Well, and that's the choice right there. And that's what we're trying to say. We're going to finish up here. But you know what? You can either look at it with the ego and feel suffering. And we've already done that. We've seen what that path leads to. It leads to this. So what we can do is now make a different choice. And, you know, there's another way. And it's not what's been occurring thus far.
We can do this. We can shift this coronavirus because it is coming from the mind. And the mind is where we need to go.
Yeah. We need to go in our minds, people.
Yes. Go to God.
Well,
go to the high, make your intent to the highest and look at it with the highest and hand it over to the highest, because that's where this stuff needs to go.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for tuning in, guys. And we'll be with you again shortly, I'm sure. And a lot of things will unfold from now till then. I'm sure it will.
I hope you join us at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah, I'm going to put that on the thing.
Positive thoughts, and picture our president the way you want to see him performing.
Yes.
Picture all of the earth and all its inhabitants the way you want to see it.
Thank you, everyone.
Let's talk about life, baby. Let's talk about you